morning and top of the day to you. It's Friday, it's sunny, Nairobi looks good. Today, we want to take a deep dive and see what's been happening on the NSE, the derivatives market, the equities market, and most importantly, the fixed income market. For your benefit, NSE closed yesterday about 6% lower with regards to turnover. Turnover was 523 million. We had two surprise movers yesterday, more so in the banks. Equity Bank, 2.43 million shares traded. Of note, 40.5 shillings was the price that it traded at. We've not seen this in a long while, and we're beginning to see traction on the local banks. Stanbic Bank, 2 million shares traded at 100. Foreign seller, local buyer. Our chit-chat with the brokers, the locals are beginning to slowly come back into the market to deploy the money that they've gotten from the fixed income market. July has seen the highest level of government redemptions, so we are seeing an inflow of this money coming back with the local domestic investors coming back. Derivatives market that launched yesterday. We saw a huge number of trades happening. 1.7 million worth of trades happened yesterday. The last number that we saw was about 500,000. So some good traction there. George, what do you think is happening in the derivatives, the NSE equities markets? What's interesting there?
Well, I'm not very bullish on first day of trade. I mean, it was hard. Yesterday was a hard launch. So initially you would expect some increased activity. I think we need to judge it based on in the next coming days.
Okay.
See if the trade picks up.
If that
volume, that momentum sustains over the next couple of days, then you can be able to say whether the uptake is quite strong or
that's a good point.
Yes.
So we need to.
New products typically in first day of trading tends to trade.
A lot of it's like an IPO. The first day you make money, then the next day it's a flop. So we need to watch out and see what happens next.
So let's just wait and see what happens the next coming days.
All right.
Yeah, whether it's sustain that volume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything interesting in the news today?
Yeah, the couple of things. First of all, obviously Barclays coming out strongly to, refute news that it's gonna send home some stuff ahead of. Well, for our viewers, Barclays is going through restructuring, and Barclays is supposed to rebrand to ABSA by next year June.
Yes.
Couple of capex around that. We are projecting about $10 million worth of capex.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Just on rebranding.
Between now and
the year end.
2019 to 2020.
Okay.
Something north of $10 million in APEX as they rebrand from the Blue Eagle to Warm Red. So it's a huge capex actually. Changing
red comes with a price tag, with a
it's
premium
a warm
price
red.
tag.
It's not just red.
Warm red, you say.
Yes, warm red.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were until next year, June, to rebrand to ABSA.
That's interesting because you bring in two elements of added cost that we probably had not factored into our models.
Yeah.
So there's the element of ABSA, now there's certainly the element of redundancies, which I think is inevitable, largely not because of the rebranding, but because of the economic environment. The rate cap environment, economy is not vibrant, so they're not able to just manage that middle line with regards to staff costs.
Yeah, I mean, in an interest rate cap regime, like where we are now, I mean, it's coming up for debate in September. But yeah, the low-hanging fruit has been for the last 2 years for banks is to actually do staff rationalization, which for me most of it has been done.
Okay.
I don't think any rate cap. I haven't seen any rate cap driven rationalization in 2019.
Expenses. Okay.
I think for Barclays, it's probably because of the restructuring. I think they're closing down some departments, some businesses, some products are being shut down.
It's purely internal restructuring and nothing to do with the external environment.
Restructuring. Okay. Some of those products being brought down. I'm likely to see with the ABSA, I'm likely to see more Barclays placing an emphasis on capital markets, investment banking, and moving away from the traditional retail banking that Barclays has always been.
Okay.
So I expect Barclays probably to cut down, and I think they've been doing that, to cut down on retail presence, and close and probably shut down some of those retail products, and that's why you're seeing that restructuring coming up. When you shut down some products, then you can see the people that attach those products.
It's normal attrition.
Yes.
Okay. So then the focus is the opportunity is largely investment banking and corporate banking.
Yeah,
if they get that.
I mean, ABSA traditionally, ABSA outside South Africa is very big on investment
and also
banking.
Wealth management.
Yes, and wealth management. Yes.
Wealth management is something they've done extremely well.
So I see more emphasis on investment banking, corporate finance advisory.
Corporate finance, and maybe a little bit touch points on wealth management.
Underwriting of deals and a bit of wealth management. and less and less of retail banking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes perfect
that
sense.
comes with some rationalization.
Oh, and they have this, they do have Timiza, so that's really helping them on the digital banking front because they've gained a lot of traction. It just launched this year and it's been positive for their operations.
I think I probably need to look more in depth on that Timiza platform. Yeah, they keep saying the numbers are looking good.
They have very good. I've
good
worked with
numbers
them
the
on
platform.
Timiza. So
yeah.
they have very
but
good
broadly,
numbers.
Broadly, I need to say the Barclays has built strong distribution. They've moved on the mobile phone.
Yes.
You know, they have a strong capital market presence. They're on the insurance. Now they want to start doing life insurance. They've been doing general insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
something
think
just to look out.
It's a strong. They're building rather. They continue to build a very strong distribution platform, which
I still like it. The best
Yeah.
thing I like about Barclays today is its dividend yield. It has one
It's
of the
about 8 to
highest
9%.
dividend yields.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. But let's switch it up. Let's go into the telcos. Yesterday we were discussing the fact that the government has instructed Safaricom to close off, I think, about 27 pay bills,
Yeah.
and the impact of that, and what impact do we think it's going to have on Safaricom earnings. Yesterday on my way home, I think the instruction from government was lock this pay bills, but then the people I was interacting with, they're like, you cannot lock this pay bills. They haven't been locked. They were still putting bets for the AFCON game that happened last night, as late as 6 in the evening.
Yeah,
so I don't know whether it's a stall effect, whether the betting companies have actually gone to court and looking for a ruling to just forestall this decision. Do you think it actually takes effect?
We discussed this at length yesterday. I was on Alcan show yesterday evening. And the thing is that some two things coming out here is that nobody really understands the issues, the underlying issues here, where the government issues those suspension notices to Safaricom. Well, you always get baffled when state intervenes in businesses.
It just feels like it's another tax collection
But
strategy.
I think also the one of the things that we've done is yesterday we did some back of the envelope calculations.
Which is?
We realized that telcos actually make between 80 to $100 million annually of fees, because the way it works is that the telcos, Safaricom for instance, charge you a flat rate of 4 shillings for every transaction, because typically they use pay bills.
Okay.
And those pay bills, they charge them a flat fee of 4 shillings.
All right.
When you talk about betting companies turning over 200 billion shillings every year, that works up something between 80 to $100 million.
So it's immaterial.
8 to 10 billion.
It's immaterial when you look at Safaricom and the valuation of Safaricom and the impact on the top line and the bottom line. It's immaterial.
But that's 8-10 billion is some big money.
Is it 8 or 10 billion?
It's between 8 to 10 billion.
8 to 10 billion Kenya shillings.
It's some big money.
No, but I'm looking at the top line of Safaricom. It's over 200 billion.
Yes.
So this is less than 10%, and materiality is anything that's above 10%. So
well, think about that. They could actually build more traction over the coming years.
All right.
And this number could actually increase.
And then they're not able to quickly replace it as well.
Let's also not forget the advertisers, because if this drags on, if there's a sustained standoff between the betting companies and the government, then some of them would want to cut down on spending, like for instance advertising. Advertising is they're one of the biggest advertisers.
So it's something to look out for.
Something to look out for.
The government has made a decision. It has not yet been implemented. Let's wait and see. And if it's implemented, the potential impact, it erodes slightly below 10% of the top line that comes into Safaricom, and a fast-growing business line that Safaricom had already identified.
Yeah, but also Safaricom expressed a concern that some of these accounts, essentially what I understand is that people betting must establish some sort of a wallet, a mobile wallet, and Safaricom was saying that some of these wallets have funding.
They already have funding. So when you stop it, then what happens to that funding?
What happens to that funding?
What happens
to that funding? That's the question
funding?
that they were talking about. Do you take it to unclaimed financial?
But let me give you something interesting. So when I was sitting with this, I was actually walking around town and I happened to meet a bunch of people, men, and they said, you cannot take this away from us. This is our livelihood. So it seems like men are the one who actually make money off betting while the rest of the economy works. Do you agree?
I would say that they take out that money from the wallets and start buying derivatives.
Yes. And you can guarantee them some good money.
Yeah, they could go do go long on some stocks.
Go long on some stocks.
Take position on both sides.
Safaricom, are you still going long on it?
I'm still going long on Safaricom.
Long on Safaricom, short on the banks.
Yeah.
We take a short break now, and when we come back, we are taking a deep dive on the fixed income market. Treasury auctions came out yesterday. The yield curve is still coming lower. For that and more, join us shortly. For now, we'll leave you with the daily commodity prices.